Welcome back to the In the Clinic podcast with Rob. And if you are wanting to learn the single variable that will allow you to meet your fitness or your wellness goals, this is the podcast for you. We have individuals that are out there that are looking to get started with a program, that are looking to get going in some level of their fitness, but they don't know how to succeed. They've tried things in the past. They've gone through the process from fitness to nutrition to other type of wellness activities, and they can't get the result that they want. So today I'm going to give away the number one secret that I tell every one of my clients before they get going in their journey. This one simple variable that will guarantee them results if they continue with their program. So my name is Rob Sumner. I'm the owner of Specialized Wellness, which encompasses all of the needs that individuals have to help prepare themselves, really rebuild themselves, and redefine. So we have physical therapy, occupational therapy, massage therapy, personal training, all the way down to our wellness services with the Superhuman Protocol. So today we're getting into something that I really want to share with all of you on how to tell every single client who comes into our program one simple truth. And this simple truth is the one thing that is the most important about over anything else. So if we look at just lifting weights, it's more important than how much you lift. It's more important than how perfect your nutrition is. It is more important than how fast you can get results. And the single most important variable that guarantees success, especially for those of us that are over 40, is not quitting. And it seems very basic, very easy, but it's harder than you think. And I'm going to show you the exact framework that I use for each one of my clients when they get started. So let me explain. We are currently surrounded by a fitness culture that glorifies 30-day challenges, fast, extreme makeovers, before and after photos of people that went all in for 8 weeks and got shredded. But here's what they don't show you. Most of these people burn out. They crash, they fall off, and 6 months later, they're worse off than when they started. And this is what I call regression to the mean. You can go all out for a short period of time, but if you quit, your body, your habits, your energy, they go back to your baseline. And at 40 and beyond, we don't have time to waste. We don't have time to waste to go in circles. And that's why when someone comes into our program, I tell them up front, don't go looking for the fastest plan. Look for the one you can stick with. So I've worked with hundreds of clients over the years, and some in their 40s, others in their 70s and beyond. And the one thing I've noticed, the ones that got the best results weren't the strongest, weren't the most athletic. They didn't always eat perfect. And some started with more injuries and limitations than you could actually believe. But you know what they had? They never quit. And they showed up. And week after week, month after month, they got a little bit better. And then a little bit better. And a little more. And before they knew it, that consistency that they stayed with, they saw results that lasted. They saw improved strength. They saw improved mobility. They saw better energy. They saw less pain. And most importantly, they found confidence in themselves again. So here's the framework that I use for every single one of my clients before they start. And this is what I want to show you. We have a timeline that typically looks like this. And this is time. And this is our result. And we typically see over 40 or 50 years that we make some type of a change that says, hey, my belt's too tight. I don't like how I'm huffing and puffing going up and down stairs. So we make a change. And we get after it and we start making improvement. So we start seeing that improvement. And from that improvement, something happens right here. Life happens. You have a second child, you change jobs, family comes to visit, you start taking care of a loved one. Anything happens, this is life. And then what happens is you get off your habits and you stop continuing, and we regress to the mean. This could be illness. This could be injury. Anything that stops, we regress back down to baseline. And then it happens again. All the results, all of the improvement that we've made is now lost until we find that magical motivation again, where our doctor says, if you don't do this, you're going to die. You're starting to get pre-diabetes, any of these things, and then we get motivated again. We start going to a gym, we start doing Pilates, we start seeing a nutritionist, and then life happens again. And we keep seeing over time this type of up and down yo-yo, which is really every time that we fall back to the mean, we lose confidence in ourselves. That's essentially what that is. We're losing confidence in the ability that anything can work for me. And that's where I'm meeting with people that are over 40, and I hear the same thing where they tell me, nothing works for me. I've tried everything and nothing works. I'm one of the special few that nothing works for. But the one thing that I show them from this is if we can set in parameters that doesn't allow people to quit, then they're going to get the greatest results overall. So most people are not able to stick with a program. And the difficulty with it is that, especially if you're over the age of 40 and you're looking to gain control of your health, here's what you need to know. Those results take time, not days, not weeks, but consistency for months of effort, years of effort. And it's not about perfection. It's about presence, just showing up. And that progress isn't always linear. You're going to have bad days, but you need to be able to keep moving. And you need to be able to track your habits, not just the scale, because your success is really measured in those actions. This is your legacy. Your health is the foundation of everything that matters. You don't need to be the strongest person in the gym. You don't need to do 2-a-days. You just need to be able to stay in the game. And in this variable, I talk often, I show this framework as well, that we look at time and we look again as results. And our health and fitness with longevity will more likely look like this. They're more of a stair step. They're not an up and down roller coaster. It's a stair step. And this is where I equate fitness and our wellness to be similar to the battlefield. And what I mean by that is, in a battlefield, you're looking to acquire a position. So you're going to take resources and you can put a lot of energy and resources to take a position. So you're going to put all of your energy into acquiring a land, a space, a position. And by putting that energy in, you're looking to get a result that achieves that. You've grabbed that level of land, but that's not where the battle ends. Now you've acquired that land, you've made improvement. This could also be similar to your fitness, but then life happens. Sometimes the enemy wants that land back, so they're going to fight back against you. They're going to start their own assault on you. And this happens in life from we get sick, we change jobs, we have another child, we have family members that visit, we go on vacation. Anything that gets you off of your routine, your goal is to hold the line. And holding the line means that maybe we're not making the improvement that we want. We're not getting the results that we want, but we're just holding it from regressing. Because just like in a battle, anytime that you regress, meaning that you've already taken a position, you put the resources in, you put the energy in there, you've conquered an area of land. But if you have to retreat from that land, it's very defeating mentally because you've already had it. You've already been there. You've already accomplished that. And now you have to give it up. And that is the hardest part in fitness and your wellness, is when you give up territory that you've already taken. And that is that yo-yo that you've seen. So for individuals in fitness, if we can hold the line here, and then when life slows down or gets easier, those same type of constraints aren't there. Now we're well, we're not sick. We're over our surgery. We held the line, we didn't regress, and now we can push forward. Because when it starts to get easy, that's when you have to push. When it seems like, hey, I don't have all these constraints, that's when it's time to push, and that's when you make your improvement until those next constraints hit. And then you need to hold the line until it gets easy, and then you can push, line, push, line. And if you could do this, then over time, you're going to get this linear progression of improvement. The other thing I show too is with the step progression is it's not always about holding the line. That is ideal. But sometimes as we make those improvements, we try and hold the line and we might regress a little bit. And this is where people need the greatest amount of help. This is why our whole services exist. Is not only to give you the best programming, not only to give you the opportunity to expand your knowledge and your understanding of your fitness, not only to have camaraderie within our membership. The whole purpose is when things get hard, that's when we're there. That's where we get you back online and you make that next gain of improvement. And sometimes we taper off again, but that's when we're there. Hold the line and keep going. Because as soon as we start to regress, it can snowball easy. We tell ourselves, oh, when I get well, I'll get back in the gym. When I get well, I'll start returning my fitness. And what happens then is a week turns to 2 weeks, 2 weeks turns to a month turns to 6 months. And before you know it, you're regressed all the way back down to 0. And then it kills you mentally. We didn't hold the promise that we told ourselves, which kills us mentally. So the solution for us, just like I equate this to electrical or plumbing. If I were to do any type of plumbing at my own house, if it's straightforward and pretty basic, I can do it. I could take care of it, which is the equivalent to somebody doing a basic fitness program. But the reason that plumbers exist is not for the basic, it's for the complex. And it takes their years of experience and their knowledge to be able to solve the problem that you have. Because when I do plumbing, if it's straightforward, I can usually stop the leak or I can usually patch what's broken. When it starts getting complex, before I know it, my time, energy, and effort is being utilized because I'm constantly going to the local hardware store to purchase new equipment. I'm looking up stuff on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out why my initial thought wasn't working, but I don't know enough to know. Whereas a plumber comes right in and right at that moment and says, hey, you got to do X, Y, Z. I got them out in the truck. Boom, boom, boom. Done, fixed. And now I don't have a leaky floorboard that I found 3 months later because I didn't do it right the first time. Now it's taken care of. And that's essentially where we're at with our fitness is once we start falling off, this is where fitness professionals will grab you and be able to help you hold the line and then make your second run in gains. And that's where most people quit. They quit because they confuse slow results with failure. But hear me on this. Slow progress is still progress. The people who win are the ones who don't give up when the scale doesn't move or the mirror doesn't change. They keep showing up. And that's why in our programs that we build, it's important to have a couple features. One is accountability. You can't do this alone. You need to have a coach. You need to have people that are pulling your corner to help hold you accountable. We are willing to lie to ourselves. We are not willing to lie to other people openly. You also need to have number 2, which is community. You need to be able to surround yourself with people who are on the same path. Like improves like. So you need the same type of people, the same mindsets around you. That's what we build here in our community is the same like-minded people with similar goals. You also need flexibility. Life happens. We need to be able to pivot, not quit. So you have to have surgery on your foot. We still are going to keep the habits by working on your core and your upper body strength and your nutrition. It doesn't mean when I get done with physical therapy, then I can come back. No, it's an and, not an or. And then we have to have the right mindset, which we help teach you how to build an identity around your health and your longevity, not just short-term goals. So when you don't quit, you actually start changing your baseline. And that means that your normal gets better. Instead of starting over every few months, you actually create a life where your health is the default, where your strength is expected, where your energy is the standard. And that right there is what fitness over 40 is really about. So here's the challenge that I want to leave each individual that's watching this to the end with. What if you decided today that you're just not going to quit? What if no matter how long it takes or how many times life gets in the way, you just keep showing up? What would your life look like 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now if you just never quit? So if this resonates with you, if you're ready to stop starting over, then reach out either to us, our facility, or just message me through whatever platform that you're watching this from or listening to. And let's talk. And let's find a plan that actually works for you. One that actually allows you to stick with it, to either hold the line or advance. Because the only thing that really separates us from success is whether or not we're going to quit, whether we're going to keep going. So again, thanks for listening today. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend, family member that you know needs to hear it. And as always, stay strong, stay steady, and never quit. See you next time.